Hey everybody, it's Brian again from Prison Social Network. Cody asked me to speak, and I'm really grateful about these opportunities. I was thinking about starting my own channel, but you know what? I don't really have the time, to be honest with you. So, shout out to Cody for the Ex-Con Cody show. I appreciate it. Basically today's topic is this. Cody asked me to speak about it. It's the do's and don'ts of prison. And it sounds so easy, it sounds so basic, and everybody's like, oh, I know what to do. Well, to me, common sense is like a lost commodity in prison because there are so many people, man, who just, they want to play prison, they want to, play convict, they want to, play the part of a prisoner. Everybody talks about this great code of honor. That's bullshit. I mean, you know what? People have their own code of honor when it suits them. You better respect me. I'm not going to respect you, but you better respect me. And that's not the way that the world works. Yeah, especially in prison, that causes problems. So some of the don'ts are the obvious. Don't gamble. Don't get involved in drugs. Don't borrow things from people that you can't pay. Don't owe people money. One of the things that may apply in some states, but in some it doesn't. Don't join gangs. Gangs are, it's pretty funny. Like in Virginia, maybe 15 years ago, gangs didn't even really exist. People debate that left and right, but I'd done a little bit of time before, and like gangs didn't even exist. Now they're rampant. They're everywhere. People, are going to, sit there and, defend that or whatever. But you know what? It's very simple. Don't run your mouth. Don't sit there and get involved with bad apples. That's where the common sense comes in, where you have to make decisions on, how am I going to do my time? We've discussed this. Okay, it's not fucking rocket science. Okay, the bottom line is, you do your time, you shut your mouth, you mind your business, and you do your time. If problems arise, then you handle them. Like we talked the last time, you're going to get into a fight. Okay, you're going to get into situations, but you have to be, man or woman enough to get yourself out of it. Okay, you cannot control what other people think about you. You can't control, if somebody pulls up on you and wants to fight. Those are the things that you're going to have to deal with. But in the meantime, the basics, don't run your mouth, don't get involved in drugs, or don't, those apply out here. So, you have to realize that once you're in prison, if you want to hang around, the bad crowd, then you're going to pay for it. If you want to do dirt's going to come back on you. The consequences are going to come. Just because you go to prison doesn't mean that the consequences, don't exist, because they do. Okay? So some of the do's, and I tell people, look, start coming, the moment that you go into prison should be the first day when you start realizing, you know what, I'm going to be released one day. I don't give a damn, man, if it's 20 years down the road, 10 years down the road. I did 11 and a half years, and I'm telling you, I was planning my first 5 years. I got involved in a bunch of dumb shit, and when it cost me time. I got in trouble and stuff, and I can admit that now. But the bottom line is, I finally had an epiphany, and I woke the hell up and said, you know what, do you want to spend the rest of your life here? Do you want to spend the rest of your life? Like, everybody bitches about prison, but yet they continue to go to prison. They continue to stay in prison. They continue to run their time up where they do more time. And, you have to formulate a plan. How am I going to make it when I'm out of here? And that should be your number one goal when you go in is, what, okay, I'm here now what? Okay, I'm going to be released one day. What is my plan of action? And I don't care how you have to do it. If you have to do research, if you have to connect with people on the outside. That's why I started up my network, so people could connect with people on the outside. And kind of get a gist of what is going on out here. Because, you have to understand, people do 20 years, they've never used a cell phone. They've never had a bank account. They've never had credit. They've never had anything. So, they need help in these areas. So, I guarantee you my last 6.5 years, the only thing I did was plan for my future. I hung out with positive people. I hung out with people who I knew, were going to do something when they got out. And guess what? I'm in contact with all of them out here. I'm in contact with some of the men and women on the inside who I know are positive influences even on me. Okay, and I know a lot of people out here who made it through the prison experience because they did the right thing. They didn't fuck around. They didn't sit there. They did their time like a man is supposed to do. Okay, you shut your mouth. You mind your business. By the way, here's a funny story. Everybody, in prison watches soap operas for some reason. I don't know the reason why, but prison is a soap opera. Okay, I used to call it As the Prison Turns. It's a bunch of gossiping dudes who go around and talk shit about everybody, the guards. They gossip, they love the prison drama and stuff. Stay away from that shit, man, because it's just a bunch of, weak individuals who sit there and have nothing better to do. They don't want to better their lives, and all that they want to do is go around and talk about what's going on in prison. I'm not interested in the prison life. I'm interested in the world out here. That's what I was interested in. The prison life, you're going to see that every single day while you're inside. Okay? Now, if you want to follow the path of the don'ts in prison, well, you're probably going to get fucked up. You're probably going to run your time up. You're probably going to get killed, stabbed, beat down, whatever comes along with that. And if that's what you choose, then you know what? Then that's your choice. Everything comes down to choice. When you go into prison, you either walk out a better person or you're going to be a worse person, and you're probably going to go back. That's not the choice that I made. And I can promise you this, I'm not going back to prison. I don't care. I would put that on everything I love. I'm not going back to prison. Period. Life is too good out here. And that's what I try to instill with the people in there. Look, the do's and don'ts, use your head. That's the main, message that I'm saying is, look, we're not a bunch of idiots. Many are in there, but, we were man enough to commit crimes and go to prison to be man enough to get the fuck out of there and do the right thing. Okay, pardon my language, but I'm passionate about this because people tend to victimize everybody in prison. I'm on social media everywhere, okay, and oh God, Johnny got a rotten orange. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? I got a rotten orange here at the fucking grocery store. Who cares? Dudes are not victims when you put yourself in situation. When you put yourself in prison, and I'm not talking about the innocent people, okay? When you put yourself in prison, I hate to fucking tell you something, you are not a victim, man. Man the fuck up and do your time, okay? Plain and simple, man. I'm so tired of this victimized, oh God, yeah, sure he killed 20 people, but he didn't mean to. Well, yeah, whatever. That's what I'm talking about. Common sense. People ignore and they rationalize their decisions and minimize their actions. And people are going to do that in prison too. Okay? So, my do's and don'ts list are stay away from the bullshit. Use common sense. Okay? Use the brain that you were given. Prepare yourself for, the outside world. And if you don't, hey, if you want to get involved in that prison life and you want to, then be prepared to stay there probably for the rest of your life. And for those who bitch about it, I can't tell. So, my whole thing is like this. My prison experience, there were a lot of ups and downs. But the bottom line was you got to suffer sometimes to get to where you want to be in life. And that's anywhere. That's out here. You have to sacrifice. You have to give up. And yeah, you know what? I knew a lot of people. I played sports. I worked out, I played little parlay tickets, gambling tickets. I stopped doing that, after 5 years and stuff. But I knew a lot of people. I knew the ins and outs of prison. I knew, who to talk to, who not to. And, the bottom line is, I'm in contact with over 100 people in prison, and I'm telling you, I don't miss it at all, man. I keep hearing the same old effing stories, man. And, so, hey, you want to have a good life? Start getting out of the bullshit. Start preparing yourself out here because life is beautiful out here. I don't even care if you have a bad day. Guess what? It beats prison. I heard this old quote. I think it was from like some kind of athlete or something. He said, my worst day on the outside was still better than my best day in prison. And that's so true. I mean, you know what? Prison's a waste of time, folks. You know, everybody thinks that, people are going to do this and do that. And, you know what? It all comes into the individual, and it comes down to human choice. That's what it comes down to. If you want to change your life, then change your life. Stop talking about it. Do it. You know, there's so many people. That's another don't. Everybody is talking. Everybody's trying to, one up the next man. Everybody's trying to be tough. Everybody's trying to stop playing prison. Okay, prison is not a joke. I've seen the biggest dudes in prison get knocked the fuck out. I've seen them get killed. I've seen them get fucked up. Okay, these guys are benching 300 pounds. Man, I was benching 300 pounds. And guess what? Anybody can get it. It does not matter about, your status or how big you are or how strong you are or whatever. That means nothing in prison, okay? It may help you defend yourself a little bit better, but guess what? Anybody can get it. So, the do's and don'ts, they're simple. Use your head. And if you don't use your head, somebody's going to think for you, whether it's the guards, the staff, the inmate population and stuff. It's you do your time. Don't let the time do you. Don't let people, do your time for you and stuff. Do it yourself. Man up. Be a woman, man, whoever you are being incarcerated, and do the right thing and get the hell out of there, because life can be great again, but you got to change. I speak from experience. I was the biggest fuck up there was, and guess what? I deserve to go to prison. I'm not saying for that long I should have gone, but guess what? That is the experience that took me to get me to where I am today. And you know what? I'm grateful for that. I hate prison, but I'm kind of grateful for the experience, because it wisened me up and said, you know what, Brian? You don't want this kind of life anymore. And by the way, if I did want that kind of life again, I'd go back to prison. I mean, it's just that simple. People need to start using their heads. The do's and don'ts, we've already mentioned that. Use your head. Get the hell out of there and become productive. Because if you don't, prison's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better, okay? That's another thing that people don't understand. Prison is getting worse by the moment, okay? So, look, that's my little talk for today. I appreciate your time. Hey, look, if anybody has any topics, go ahead and hit Cody up, man, and and he'll let me know. And I love hearing about the prisons over there, because they're so different. It's